I'm Eylu Savas, and this is Llama with no drama, and we broke the internet.
This is the show about the people who create, amplify, and influence our culture and how they do it. Want to capture lightning in the bottle? Want your content to spread like wildfire? I'm Ben Kaplan, and let's break the internet. Welcome to Break the Internet. I'm chatting with Eylul Savas, and her Llama with no drama account is breaking the internet. Eylul, welcome to the show, and we're fascinated to hear about your story.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. And Llama says thank you too.
The Llama does as well. Excellent. And wait, how does this start out? I mean, lots of people like the name Llama with no drama. Did it start, is that the genesis of this idea, or where did this start being like, hey, I'm going to create a character, I'm going to create an account, and it's going to bring a little bit of joy to the world?
So this is back in 2016. I believe it was this is like around March. One day I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this illustration of a llama doing this move saying, "This llama doesn't want your drama." And I don't know if I was like going through some tough times or something. It just cracked me up. I was like looking at my phone and laughing. I'm like, this is so funny. Like, this actually, like, llama drama name is very catchy. Let me, like, my marketing mind around that time was like, why don't you just like try to search like account names? Maybe we can do something with it. So, and then I came up with, what about llama with no drama? And then I looked it up on Instagram. Okay, it's available. And then I'm like, okay, let me go to GoDaddy and see if the domain is like available or not. And they're out there. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but I'm just going to buy this account. So I bought the domain. I have the accounts all over social without knowing anything. And then I think I put that idea on pause for a bit, but then one day I'm like, okay, I think it's time to do something for myself too on Instagram, because I didn't want to be one of those girls who were like traveling the world in their bikinis and taking selfies. At the time, it was a huge thing. Not that I'm against it. I just didn't want to be under the spotlight, but I still wanted to do something on Instagram. So I'm like, okay, I have this account. Maybe it's a good idea to get a llama and make it travel the world. So that's how the idea, I guess, came to life. And then we started traveling because I was already traveling, working as a marketing consultant, as an independent one. It gave me the opportunity to travel while I'm...
You could work remotely, you could travel, you were going to interesting places, and I'm going to bring this llama along. Okay, so start with the name. It started with this idea of travel, and you were also a little bit inspired, is that correct, by the movie Amelie and sort of the garden gnome that is in the movie?
It's one of my favorite movies. And now, oh, okay, maybe. So, it's so funny. I was not thinking of that when I first started it, but then maybe like 4 or 5 months later, when I thought about it, what could be this like inspiration that I'm not aware of, like maybe like subconsciously. And then I'm like, oh my God, maybe this movie gave me this idea from years ago that I watched it.
And then once you started doing that, was it like, so you have the name, you sort of have the concept of this, this like kind of like stuffed animal llama who's going to show up in interesting and memorable and popular places around the world. Did you put much thought into the actual, like the stuffed animal llama and like how it looked and all this, or did you just like get the first one you found? And then how did you think about what the content would be itself? If, is this static images? Is this videos? Is this something else?
Yeah. So the face was very important. When you search like Google, there's so many llama plushies, but I don't know, for some reason, they make most of them very ugly and angry looking. So it was definitely not the first one I like got. I like went through it and I found this like very smiley, like welcoming face. I'm like, okay, this is it. So that's how I got that one, the original llama. So wait, what was I answering? I zoned out now that I was answering that.
No, so you had the name, you had the concept, you had, it sounds like you wanted a smiley, happy llama to visualize no drama. And then how did you sort of think about or start experimenting with content? Like, what was this going to be like? Yeah, like what was the approach? What was the format? What worked? What didn't? Take us through those kind of early days.
So it definitely started with photos. And at the time, Instagram, like we were talking about back in 2016, it was very photo oriented. Videos were not a thing. Like, I guess videos like became a thing in the past 4 years. But in 2016, it was all still photos. And I loved taking photos. So it was the combination of my passion for traveling, bringing smiles to people's faces, because every day, like, and I think around that time, I don't know what exactly happened now that I have a short memory loss. But some negative things were happening in the world. Like, I mean, when does it not happen? But I wanted something bright to put out there to the world that brings smiles to people's faces. So it was this combination of, again, travel, like bringing happiness, smiles, and encouraging people to travel with photos, with colorful photos. Since the beginning, it's been always about these colorful places and colorful images.
Well, and what did you learn about photos at that time? Like, was that one of them, that it needs to be colorful? What else? Like what photos worked and didn't work? Did it need to be recognizable places? Did it just need to be pretty? Did it need to evoke some kind of emotion? Like, what worked and what didn't, just in the realm of photos?
No, I love that question because it's so funny. So in the early days, when I posted a photo of the llama from its back, the engagement was much lower. But when it was facing the camera and like directly from the faces, like even the angles, like it can't be tilted, it can't be like that. It has to be like straight and looking in the camera. Those images were always way more engaging. But now, like, things have changed while I'm doing the videos and doing like POV videos from llama's back, like from your angle like that. They get like high engagement too. But at the time when we first started, it was an interesting fact, like to me, like I'm like, okay, I gotta do this photo from this angle.
Okay, so you had to do it. You want the llama's face at the beginning, though it's evolved from that. And then did it matter the location? Did you notice different followers? And this is kind of your path to get to your kind of first 100,000 followers. Was there anything like, is this just like, beach scenes or mountain scenes or things with people or not with people? What did you kind of learn, and were you just experimenting with all of this?
Not with people. It was more about the scenes. I don't think it was necessarily about the specific locations, as long as I am able to capture like colorful, beautiful scenery and llama doing things that normally humans would do, captured the audience right away anyway. So I didn't have to go to like very popular places in the beginning. I think when I first started, I was in Miami. I was traveling in between Miami and New York a lot because I had a client there at the time. So a lot of content was coming from there. And then I went down to Colombia. So this is all happening within the first 2 months after I started the account. And that's when it went viral. After that, we started going to more popular places. But before then...
Well, and the first, I think, indication, we've chatted before, you've mentioned that the first indication you thought that, hey, this could really be something, was when you got a interest from a travel publication where actually someone wanted to feature this and reached out to you, and what was the story? And it's kind of interesting in the early days because you have a PR background. You were able to start leveraging this.
Yes, exactly. So it was so funny. I received this email, I guess 2 months after that, after I started, from Travel Channel. At first, I thought it was a like spam email or like even a scam email. I don't know. And then like I started like Googling this person. I'm like, oh, this is real. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I would love to do that interview. And then that's how I did the first interview. And then from the Travel Channel piece, a few other publications picked it up. But then I thought, okay, there's something here. It's it looks like a good PR piece, and my background is in PR. Why don't I do some like PR push for this? So I started reaching out to a few other publications. So it was this like viral moment of like two viral moments, let's say months, happened like that in the beginning initially. And then fast forwarding it to 2019, there was this trend report from a big publication that says unicorns are dead. Now it's time for llamas. And of course, the first thing when people search for llamas on social media, it's llama with no drama would pop. So all these publications started featuring llama again.
You think because this was a trending, llama was a new trendy, I guess, trendy animal?
Yes. But then they were also saying llama with no drama is part of like making this a trend.
So you would get mentioned in there. So it was sort of like the first wave, it sounds like PR driven, of just like the travel, the novelty of the travel with the llama. And then llama actually becomes a trend, and you happen to be in the right place at the right time for that trend. And then it gets more popular. And meanwhile, were you like, how much time were you spending on this? Like, it doesn't seem like it's that time consuming to take a stuffed animal and take some photos or do some other things. But maybe as you start getting into the science of it, it does get more time consuming to figure out the right shots.
Oh, it definitely takes like more time than you think. I mean, in the beginning, I think so. It's actually not like that. In the beginning, I would take anything and people would love it, no matter what. Like, doesn't matter how shitty the photo I took. Like, I would get thousands of likes. Okay, great. The early days of Instagram, right? But then, of course, things started changing. And now, like, I also started working with a lot of big brands, like from Four Seasons to Ritz-Carlton, and you can't deliver them some shitty images. So you had to like create a concept and like the setup and everything. So those are definitely more time consuming. And also when you go on press trips with tourism boards, you're dedicating I don't know, at least a week to be with them to do that itinerary day by day and creating all the content that you agreed on from the beginning. So it really depends on what kind of content you create, like obviously, but it definitely takes a lot of time to create content, like good enough content.
So to bring us to kind of the third act, like really it's more recently, past few months, really a kind of rebirth of the account where you had, I think 140,000 followers. In the past few months, you've added another 110,000 followers. What drove that? I think, especially given that what I know about you is that you haven't been traveling. This is a travel-based account. How have you been growing so quickly, and what have you been doing?
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy part. I mean, I'm still traveling. It's just not as much as before because now I have a boyfriend, I have a dog, I have a more settled life, and it was way more fun in my 20s. So now I'm in my 30s. Like, I like a more routine life, but I still love traveling. I still do. But the content that I've been using that has been going viral recently is all old content, like mostly old content. Because I was just sitting at home that day, like in January. I don't know when I started posting those exactly, but I'm like, okay, I'm not traveling that much, but I have all this content from previous years, from my prior trips that I haven't used that much. Because the video was not that big when I was doing all that travel. And I was like, not really video savvy, I would say. But now I am in the video world too. I'm like, let me repurpose those existing videos. And let's also merge this with some more fun messaging that is not only around travel, but more around mental health and like feel good. And combine it with trending audios, and boom, like it just gone viral again.
I see. So how much I know when we've spoken before, you've said that you spend way more time paying attention to trends. So now you're trying to insert like trending audio, other things with the llama, with the travel concept, but with a little bit more evolved the no drama part, which is the mental health part. Those things are coming together. So how much time and how do you do it to just like figure out what's a trending clip you could use, something else that will get you a bigger audience?
Well, I mean, Instagram is so smart. So once you use or save a few of those videos or audios that are in that space, like they start serving you a lot of that kind of a content. So when I scroll on the Llama's account, like all I see is like in those similar areas, and I'm like, okay, this would work, this wouldn't work. So it's a lot of scrolling and finding a trending audio, and then thinking of, okay, what kind of content do I have that I can integrate this with? That's my recent process.
I see. Well, and so really the feed itself is useful for you to look for that and study that. And
the explore page.
Okay, explore page. And how have you monetized this? For a lot of people, it's like, hey, it'd be a dream to have their stuffed animal monetized for their life. How have you thought about that? Including, I can see that going to llamawithnodrama.com, I can adopt my very own llama. I can get a calendar where I can plan my schedule for the year with this as the backdrop. How did that all start, and how have you sort of best monetized it, even when you have a separate marketing career and everything else?
Sure. I mean, I think the best part is that because I always had a separate income, that I never like 100% relied on Llama with no drama, and it takes the pressure, because I see a lot of creators in the field that are like so under pressure because they have to make that money from these brand partnerships and blah, blah, blah. And they sometimes do like really bad decisions when it comes to that. Like a lot of brands that do not align with their personal brands that, in my opinion, they shouldn't work with. They're doing it just for the income. But for me, because I had that opportunity, I didn't have to. So I've been very picky with all the brands that I've worked with through the Llama account. It is a very specific line. It is only like luxury hotels or tourism boards or airlines. And again, of course, if you're in the travel space, it's hard to monetize those because the travel brands always look at it as a barter.
So they want to provide you with hotel rooms or flights or a trip in exchange for posting.
Yeah, the entire trip. Yeah, most of the time it's like that. But of course, there are like paid opportunities too. But there are also paid brand campaigns as well. But for me, there's always been the Llama sales. And for the past 4 years, also Llama calendar sales. We've been selling calendars on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart.
Well, and how many like llamas does one sell? In a year? How many calendars? Like, is it substantial sales?
Yeah, we have good enough of sales. Like I keep, especially now that the account went viral again in January, we were out of stock like so many times, and people are constantly DMing the Llama, when are the cousins are gonna be available? When are they coming back? I'm like, okay, I'll let you know, guys. And it's so cute. Like, there's so many messages there that are so sweet. Yeah, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, so there's been a good amount of Llama sales for sure. Like every month I sell hundreds.
I see. And where do you hope to take this now? Like you've come, you have over 250,000 followers. It's not meant to be your main focus, but it's growing. It's rejuvenated again recently. Where do you want to take it? How do you want to evolve it? And it's also something that's interesting because it doesn't have to be just you doing it, because it's not your personality. It's something that could, someone else could run with, or someone else helping you could run with. So what are your next plans?
Sure. I mean, I do not have any plans on giving up on it, even though it is more on the side. I definitely love the travel aspect of it, but I think what I want to focus more in the upcoming months or years is more on the mental health space, because there's a huge need, I think, from like creators by their audience, like they need some uplifting content, and that is actually helpful. And all these, so even though it's so funny, like to me, like who would think this is helpful? But the DMs I've been receiving are showing me that this is actually helpful. Like me putting this kind of a content out there, like made someone smile today, or I don't want to give so much detail, but one of the DMs I received was from a lady who lost her son, and she was looking for a sign in her therapy group. They told her that her sign of that month would be a llama, and she hasn't seen a llama sign anywhere until she came across the Llama with No Drama account. And she started, like, she told me the story that like she started crying, like, this is my son, showing me like it things get very deep. You would not expect that, like, from this stuffed animals account, but it gives that kind of a feeling. And I think I was able to engage with my audience a lot. Like, I respond to every DM, even though I receive a lot. Like, doesn't matter if it's like today or in a week, I always answer them. So it's a very engaged community in that sense.
And as you sort of explore the mental health space, how do you envision doing that? What would change about the content? How do you think you could draw upon those themes and sort of, but still keep what you're known for, but evolve it?
Mm-hmm. I really am in need of a mental health company partnership. That's what I'm trying to navigate right now, like who would be the right partner and how we can integrate Llama into their brand and their brand into my brand. Like something, I'm not thinking of it just a one time like campaign. Okay, we're done. Like I would love to do something more ongoing where, I don't know, it can even be an app where Llama can pop and like tell you nice things, then to remind you, like, be kind to yourself and things like that. I just need to structure that like better once I have more time, I guess. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen.
Well, and what is your advice for others who, you know, want to do something like this? What have you learned from this journey about, you know, getting started, and then actually the type of content that one should create, whether that's putting themselves front and center, or in your case, not putting yourselves front and center, putting a stuffed llama front and center? What have you learned from this? What is your advice to others?
I mean, it's totally up to that person, right? I mean, I started the Llama account because I didn't want to be under the spotlight, but then I also ended up growing my account to a like decent amount too. So I'm at like 70,000 followers too, and I do like a lot of partnerships as well from my account. But mine was kind of forced because it's so funny. So the brands I was working with through Llama love the exposure that they were receiving from the account, but they didn't want to repost, or they didn't want to use it on their website or on their like own pages, because they wanted a human in those photos. So that's when they started asking me to take photos for my account or of myself too. And that's how I started creating content for myself too. And that's how I grew my account.
I see, because they were structured around needing a person, not a stuffed animal, for everything they did.
So my content started as more as UGC for them, but then of course.
And do you cross pollinate between your personal account and the Llama with No Drama account? Do people know those two accounts exist, and your real fans go back and forth? Do you have rules about when you appear with the Llama in content versus not? How that's done? How do you manage your Eylul, the two sides of your personality, your split personality here?
That's so funny. I sound like a sick person. So of course, I mean, it was never completely anonymous. Like on the bio of the Llama account, it says like by Eylul Savas. So they always knew, but I never really pushed myself on that account. I'm almost never, I guess, on Llama's feed, but on the stories, sometimes to answer some questions, because some people are asking like, how did you come up with the idea, blah blah blah. And
Okay, so
then
you weren't tempted to like hold the llama up and have it like fake speak while you do the voice in the background or anything like that?
No.
Okay, you did, because
I keep things real.
Okay, you keep things real. In a prior life, I have a marketing agency, and one of our clients was the 9 Lives cat, Morris the cat, who we brought back as a celebrity. So we had to do, we had 5 different cats that were live action cats, but we had to like record voiceovers for the cats with a voiceover artist and get the cats to like sort of sit still and like move their head and try to time it to the voiceover. And we had these little animatronic paws. We had paws that we could do like the point of view and have the paws like, going down the aisle and stuff like that. So we did a lot of that. You have not been tempted to do the voiceovers and actually make the llama talk.
No, I think the only reason I'm using the trending audios is that finally Llama has actually, like, it feels like it can talk, but from other people's voices, definitely not mine.
I see. Got it. Well, but what is your advice for others just on the day-to-day practice of, getting more engagement, getting more reach, building your account? What has been like, I don't know, the most successful tips or tactics you've employed for someone else that wants to grow whatever their concept is?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially for like people that are just getting into the, I don't know, content creation scene, it's important for them to be up to date with trends, because for a long time I was like, okay, I don't want to deal with videos. I don't want to do videos. And because of that, my account didn't grow. But it was obvious that all these platforms, like from Meta to you, like YouTube to TikTok, everybody wants you to create videos. So you kind of listen to the industry, the ecosystem, and it's already telling you what they want you to do. But if it doesn't feel authentic to yourself, you shouldn't do it. Like, I hate the word authentic because everybody keeps saying, oh, be authentic, it's going to work out. No, that's not the reality either. But if it has to feel authentic to yourself, like for a while, I didn't want to push myself to do llama videos, and I didn't grow it. That's what I deserved. So if they want to grow, and then as of January, I made the decision, okay, I'm going to put more effort in this account and I want to grow this. I'm like, okay, then I got to like keep up with the trends, and then it worked. So it was already telling me what to do. I was just not listening. And I think working with brands that are really true to yourself is very important, not just work with brands for the money. I hate it. Like, I think that's my biggest feeling for some people in the industry. And they say, like, I don't know, even like from fashion influencers, they say they're so sustainable and blah, blah, blah. They work with high-end, and then all of a sudden Shine or Fashion Nova wants to pay them. And they go and just promote that. And unfortunately, I have respect to many things, but not to that.
And what do you hope, where do you hope all of this goes? I know you're evolving the account. You like the mental health as a theme, but do you plan on, doing this for the next 20 years? Would you love to grow it to where it could become a full-time job? Is it just a fun thing to do on the side? Do you ever get tired of it? How do you deal with like kind of the future of this?
It's a fun thing for me to do it on the side. I work with tech startups, and I do marketing for them. And tech is a space that now I am way more interested in. But of course, travel is my passion, so it's always going to be there. Like, even if I'm 90 years old, of course, I'll be still traveling as long as I'm healthy, right? But I don't know if Llama would be there. I hope it will be, but I don't know about that part. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing myself doing this for at least another 5 years.
And finally, what do you think, the secret behind your most popular, most viral post, the post you most broke the internet, Now Sing It With Me, Humans, 17.5 million views. Take us through, as a final question, what is the secret to that video, and why did that one in particular break the internet?
Llama saying fuckity shit. That's the secret for you. No,
that is the secret, which is like, it's simple, surprising, and significant. It's a simple idea. It somehow surprises you because you don't expect it. And somehow is significant. That brings joy to your day. Is that what it is? Did you know it would be a hit when you created it?
Not really, to be honest. But I think it was the first video where Llama actually used a curse word. And that's what shocked the people, I believe. And also, when you sing it, just like listen to it. It's very catchy. Like you sing it. Like I sing it at home. Sometimes I find myself singing it. It's just so funny, and it goes in a loop, and you can't stop. So it's a very catchy tune. And I did the edit in a very colorful. So it was in Cape Town. I got that footage while I was there last year. And it's a very colorful area. And then Llama keeps like going like this way, that way, pops and stuff. Like it's also very full of action, Llama action. I think it was the combination of that, like of those things.
I see. And did you get any complaints from using a curse word on this?
Zero.
Or no, was it all positive?
People loved it. That's so funny.
People loved it. Okay, so there you go. And maybe the lesson of that is that you can build up, your presence, your brand, your content. People can know what to expect. But then every once in a while, you can go against all of that expectation, and that might be the surprising hit you have that somehow breathes new, fresh life into the content you're creating.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Well, I have to thank two people. First of all, thanks to Eylul Savas, the creator of Llama with No Drama. And then can I also thank the Llama? Can I do that as well? Llama,
please.
Thank you for bringing some joy to my life, some mental health balance, some great travel scenes. I very much appreciate this. And it's okay if you want to dance, if you want to sing, if you want to do the occasional rap lyric or curse word or stuff like that, as long as you bring joy to the world, I'm happy with that. Thank you so much for joining us on Break the Internet.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This episode was brought to you by Top Thought Leader. Go viral with TTL.
Check out all our shows at topthoughtleader.com.
Like and subscribe.